Thanks for staying with us. Still reviewing Punch. What's the
Yes,
story?
I have the major headline, which is outrage over the rising insecurity in the country grew on Thursday as stakeholders demanded tough actions by the federal government against kidnappers. Those who advised federal government on kidnapping epidemic included the Supreme Council for Sharia, South governors, residents of affected communities, and National Association of Nigerian Students. As we know, the conversation is that, first of all, these kidnappings used to be restricted to the northwest, but now, as even very recently, as we've seen it, is spread and quite rampant in the FCT. Different groups, just, like the South governors, they brought up different scenarios where now you see these kidnappings happening in the South as well. Delta states especially, they've called Ogun State, other states in the South. The Nigerian students have are talking about youth couples that are still in captivity, students that have been captured. Every part of Nigeria is affected. It's affected by this kidnapping and banditry. So they're asking government to do a lot more, to put in more work in resolving the issue. And we have the police. Well, we also have heard from government also in trying to curtail this kidnapping, advising us to stop not only advising, telling us that it's illegal to raise ransom for kidnappers, especially also making it public. So anyway, the major message here is government needs to do more, as this is affecting everybody.
Right, so the Minister of State for Petroleum and Vice President are in Davos, Switzerland, and they have said that disclosed that Nigeria will be spending a total of 3.1 trillion to transit from fossil fuel to cleaner and renewable energy. They say specifically the country is projecting 1.9 trillion for energy transition plan, while 1.2 trillion was estimated for renewable energy plan in 2060. According to his Twitter page and X, he actually made a post on X. He said that Nigeria's energy policies aligned with OPEC's expectations, showcasing Nigeria's dedication to sustainable practices and energy. However, the issue of transitioning from fossil fuels, Nigeria would not rely on aids and grants to transition to cleaner renewable energy in 2060. So these are plans of projecting for the future. Any story on that story in Punch? Let's move on quickly now to Daily Sun. Reps blow hot over 75 billion naira COVID-19 funds. Abia TV station invasion. 4 police face trial room. About explosion, 58 houses affected, says NEMA. AFCON Super Eagles beat Elephants of Côte d'Ivoire. OTIP appointed Okonjo-Iweala, Sanusi Ote, 16 others into Abia economic team. Supreme Council for Sharia appeals to Tinubu to find end to economic hardship. Aviation Minister orders relocation of FAAN headquarters to Lagos. International oil companies asset divestment. Nigeria loses nothing, says Okulokokori. And Army uncovers bunkering site with 3 million liters crude oil in rivers. Okay?
Let's talk about the Army. So the 6th Division Nigerian Army has discovered an expanse of forest in Odagwa community in Eche local government area of Rivers State. They said the coordinated bunkering business with several sites have been thriving for several years. So the General Officer commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army Land Components Commander, Joint Task Force South-South Operation Delta Safe, Major General Jamal Abdusalam was the one who led the operation yesterday, and he said over 3 million liters of crude oil were contained in reservoirs, and they discovered it. He also said that even with helicopters or drones, it would be difficult to discover the level of illegality existing in the forest. That one of the reasons they were able to do this was because they had a discrete intelligence, which led them to locating over 14 reservoirs containing over 200,000 liters of crude oil each. And, he said the idea of this movement was to know, let Nigerians know exactly what is happening. The place is totally forested, that even from the air, using helicopters and drones, you will not even be able to see exactly what is happening on the ground. But they were able to get them based on intelligence and discovered all the legalities taking place. So this calls to the fact that there is more happening, that we need to find, we need to arrest, we need to prosecute those people to discourage this from happening. Because if you cannot even understand what is there till you're on ground, how many of our soldiers and policemen can we deploy on ground to be able to find these illegalities?
Okay, so a memo dated January 15, 2024, signed by the manager, MD of FAAN, Mrs. Olubunmi Kuku, reads that the Honorable Minister for Aviation and Aerospace Development has directed that the headquarters of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria should relocate from Abuja back to Lagos. This was initially relocated from Lagos to Abuja by the former Minister for Aviation. And no particular reason this time, but it's the minister has ordered that it's be returned to Lagos. And speaking on this, an aviation security expert speaking with the Sun newspaper, John Ojikutu, he said the reason and cost of this relocation should be revealed, wondering what the economic or administrative sense is in moving the FAAN headquarters back to Lagos. He said first it was the renovation of the MMIA Terminal E. Next was his idea to renovate some airports. Another was the second runway for Abuja, and now the relocation of Federal FAAN to Lagos. I asked, when was the headquarters relocated to Abuja? Was it not just in 2020, just 3 years ago? What's the cost of this relocation? But the minister had added in his letter that the implication of the relocation should be provided. That's, again, I'm guessing, cost as well. I'm just wondering, staff will have to move, some staff will have to come back. All of those, we don't really need it. Let the headquarters be anywhere and let the airports function. That's all we need. If every state can have an airport, then we can be debating. The one we should not even be debating is MPA, that by have headquarters.
But moving it, there must be a reason to.
We cannot be dancing back and forth.
We said that
If
we cannot do the same thing and expect a different result.
Exactly.
So that's why they want to make a change and see if it fixes. So let's not
The
assume
last
that.
administration said it was for administrative purposes that they moved.
So what are these
Wait, it can't be this one now.
We'll find out.
Movement, it comes with cost. That's my own point.
All right, let us. Any other story? I was going to take the Sharia, the Supreme Sharia Court.
No,
Supreme Council of Sharia in Nigeria. You have that story?
She took it already.
Oh, you took it already? Okay, let's move on now to Vanguard. Sorry, I missed that. Impact of fuel subsidy removal tough on Nigerians, says Tinubu. Additional's book, Your 8-Year Rule Was Biased, Unjust, Nepotic, Clark tells Buhari. We won't allow CBN print money, says Budget Minister. Iban explosion, police declare owners of building wanted. Adeleke dethrones 3 monarchs over faulty election process. Shettima tax African leaders on continent's global GDP. And Abia, policemen who invaded the TV station to face orderly room trial, says PPRO. Okay, which story?
Let me take that Abia TV invasion. So it's been reported that 4 police officers at about 2:40 p.m., January 16th, invaded the online Abia breaking news television and radio studio in Umuahia. They said that they had come to arrest a guest who was on a live show, Mr. Odensi Donald, when on a written petition against him over a family matter by his brother, Mr. Uche Onwuka. And when they got there, they said the staff, tried to appeal to them to allow for the live show to be over, but they insisted and they went in and arrested this man on the live show. And the owner of the TV station says many of his equipment were damaged in the process. But the Commissioner of Police, Abia State, apologized for it, even quickly went for an sports assessment visit. And he says that he and the owner of the station have spoken and they have resolved the matter amicably. So there's another story that was in the Punch that has to do with the wife of Abiola. Her name is Zainab. That's the wife of late Chief MKO Abiola. Her name is Zainab Abiola. She had been awarded a 50 million naira in damages. And the issue in her own case was that she was arrested while still in her nightgown. And whatever the appeals she made, they did not listen to her. And then she was locked up for 3 days without being, taken to court. And so you know, the police had to pay her. That's why she was awarded that 50 million naira in damages. So I'm wondering how, you know, this plays out. Is it okay, Nima, you're here, is it okay to arrest someone, however it is that you meet them? I mean, if it's a criminal, yes, if you are a criminal, or does it have to be determined that you're a criminal, or is it a civil case? Can you just come in and just arrest someone, or are you allowed to give them the period grace to put themselves together?
All right, that's all we can.
It does not matter. So why can't you award it? Sorry.
Ran out of time. We're going to break now. We'll come back and move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.